You never met a man like me. You wouldn't understand. I'm in a rock and roll business, honey. Well, I'm in a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the Rockstar Fitness, proudly in association with Fat Loss Fat Lane and Made Coaching. Boys, how are we?
Good, man. All good.
Apologies for being tardy. I was stuck out and actually kind of lost track of time. It's my fault. It's nobody else's fault. Victoria. But yeah, no, I lost track of time. So I got back in and I was like, oh, God damn it. I need to be on this.
I pull myself away from unemployed beers with the boys for this podcast, JP. I wasn't tardy at all.
I mean, what time is it there?
It's 6:30.
Right, and you're complaining that you've pulled yourself away from beers with the boys at 6:30. You're going to be able to go out at 7:30. They'll already be a little bit loose, right? Everybody will be a little bit loose. You can crack on.
Oh, fantastic. The borders are open so you boys can join me.
Well, I mean, it's a long flight, Simon, for a beer. I'll be honest. I don't really like you.
Not cheap either.
I don't really like you enough to do that. But
you're lost, dude. You're lost.
It's not true. You know it. Anyway, so what are we talking about today? So I think the first thing we need to cover is an obvious one. Why am I so damn sexy? Like, what is it about me?
Without the accent, it's nothing.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't mean to blow my own trumpet here, but this is not an insignificant amount of facial hair for a short period of time. And we all know what happens when this thing's 3 months old and you're all looking at me going, God damn, he's like a sexy Gandalf.
You're coming at me where it hurts, man. You know I've got no comeback on a beard quip.
It's true. And I have a full head of hair, unlike some people.
True. The hair, facial hair, muscles, accent. It's kind of you've got the Gibson, not Mel. You've got the Gerard Butler.
Come on, man. Don't go there.
Thing on another level.
Yeah, all right. I have the trifecta.
Yeah.
I've done the short straw.
Mel Gibson in, I got confused with Braveheart, so
I would get very offended.
Yeah,
I've drawn the accent short straw here. We got Robb, because you know the self-professed world's sexiest accents, and then we got Scotsman over here, and I come from a Scottish family and still have a black country accent. I'm awful.
Yeah, I mean, when you say you drew the short straw, you didn't draw a straw at all. There was no straw. Like all the other straws got pulled, and everybody looked at you and went. No girl was ever wooed by a Wolverhampton accent. No girl was ever wooed by Yabberoi pet. It's never ever happened. And yet you're getting married.
I know. I found another Brummie that understands the accent to a degree.
And, potentially has significant mental problems.
I mean, I think that's true with both of us.
Very fair, very fair. So, all jokes aside, and I was only semi-joking, what are we going to talk about today? So, I think an easy one, a real easy one, is just to cover the whole sort of, do you need cardio? Do you need to train full stop? Right? I mean, everybody likes to put ratios on these things, right? It's 60% diet, 40% training, 70% diet. What is it? What's the magic formula? Because people want to know these things, right? They want to know if there's a magic formula. What do you think, boys? Simon, come on. Yeah, man, come on.
Mate, I always think these ratios are absolute bollocks. It all depends on what you actually want to achieve, right? Like, if you want to be like the world's best body in the world, it's 100% everything. Yeah. Like, and like, do you need cardio? You can probably get lean without cardio, but we spoke about in the last episode about how having an aerobic base is going to be beneficial for health and body composition. So could you do it without? Yeah. Is it optimal without? Probably not. Yeah, me too. Me too. Like one of my best preps ever was the most simple diet ever and just steps.
I didn't feel good.
I felt great, but like, I mean, if you told me to run a marathon, I'd probably fall to bits. But it depends on, like, I think people have got this idea of that people look at health and physique as like it's this all-encompassing one thing. If you look great, you must be able to run a marathon and also bench press 150 kilos. Where it's more specific than that. And like, if you want to be, you know, how much cardio you need if you want to run a marathon? Probably a fair bit. How much cardio you need if you just want to look good and have less body fat? Maybe not that, maybe enough to keep you healthy, and that's it.
Pretty much. I mean, everybody hates the phrase "it depends," right? We all say it, you know, you need to kind of qualify that. You can't just say it depends. But with pretty much all of the answers to most of these questions, you know, it is conditional. It's conditional on your goals. It's conditional on where you are right now. It's conditional on, you know, how efficient or inefficient your metabolism is. It's conditional on what where you play, how much importance you place on health during this whole thing. I mean, we should all be placing that pretty much at the forefront, right? But let's be honest, it's not the primary goal for most of us when we're doing these things. The primary goal is looking sexy as fuck naked, right? I mean, let's just say it how it is. It's not shallow. It's not, you know, it's not sort of narcissistic. It's just, who doesn't want to look better naked? Who doesn't want to be more attractive to the opposite sex or their significant other, or, you know, other people that you might want to see you naked?
I think that's also conditional as well, right? Like, don't get me wrong, like, health is always important no matter what your age is, and everyone wants to look better naked. But if you tell a 45-year-old or 50-year-old that, you know, this is going to allow you to live long and be healthy, they'll listen to you. If you tell someone that's 21 years old, oh, this will be all right because it might stop you having a heart attack in 30 years. Like, I don't give a fuck. I want to bang loads of chicks and go out on the lash. You know, like then maybe your conversation is more towards looking fucking sexy. So that 21-year-old doesn't, like, it's too far in the future to care about.
Just want to point out here, Rob, that Simon has never banged loads of chicks.
Oh, I wish I could argue that point. I really wish I could argue that.
When he was
never happened. Like, not even in his imagination. Even in his imagination, he gets shut down.
That's all right, man. I don't care anymore. I'm happy. I'm good.
When he was 20 years old, he was more worried about living longer and not having a heart attack.
You've trapped one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm set now. I'm good. I don't worry about it anymore.
That's it. Once you put the ring on the finger, you can pretty much relax, right? You just sort of spend your days in your pants. You know, not worried about whether or not you're attractive.
And not worry about cardio either. So there we go. The conditional statement. If you're arguing to me, doesn't matter anymore.
The cardio is important, man. You don't want to be sort of mid coitus and thinking you're going to have a heart attack.
Yeah, but the longer you're in a relationship, like, more that goes down the pan anyway. So that's much either.
It's a cynical view, Simon. It's a cynical view. Dear God.
Not true at all, of course.
Ah, man. Rob, you're obviously getting yourself ready for a photo shoot right now. You're shredding down, summer shred. How much cardio are you doing? How much conditioning work are you doing?
Cardio in the traditional sense, zero. Activity in the sense of steps, yeah, as much as I feel I need to on that particular day. But if I'm getting ready for a photo shoot, I want to attain and build upon as much muscle mass as I can, and cardio is not going to trigger any sort of protein synthesis whatsoever. However, longer term, I'm also thinking summer things will open and the dating scene will open up again. Do I want to be, like you said, like 2 pumps in and feeling like I'm about to die? Or do I want a little bit of longevity in there as well? But that's why with my kettlebell training, I'm getting some sort of
Thrust work in.
more anaerobic work, shall we say? More, yeah.
Some thrust work.
Thrust way more accurate. Thrust work for sure.
There's a lot of posterior chain going down at the moment.
Everything good in life starts with explosive hip extension.
Yeah. It's true. It's very true.
Very true.
So yeah, cardio. And at this stage of the game, do I need cardio? Maybe later down the line, maybe, but certainly not at this stage. I'm not even
later down the line. You're losing your hair and it's going grey. What do you mean later down the line?
I'm talking way shorter term, like as in towards the shoot, rather than years.
So what's your step count right now? What's your average sort of steps? What are you hitting?
Minimum 10 every day.
No, don't give me that bollocks. Get your phone out and look.
And the average is going to tell you a little bit lower, probably.
But like all clients say, isn't it? It's the phone's broken. I don't have my phone on me all the time.
Yeah.
I live in the house.
What's yours?
I always walk the same route pretty much. Some days it's 9,500 odd. There's a couple of 7s in there, but there's also there are days where I don't walk with a podcast because I don't want anything going in. I want to clear my head. So those are the days where I've only got half a.
This is shameful, right? What's your monthly average, Simon?
About 12k.
12k.
Yeah.
2,097.
There you go.
Wow. Wow.
And I'll be honest with you, I had 4 cream eggs in a bath last night. And do you know what? My body weight has been consistently the same, pretty much, with the exception of losing 9 pounds during COVID. It's been pretty much the same for the last year. Hasn't moved up, hasn't moved down. It was about 5 pounds heavier when I was pushing calories in seriously, right up until I contracted COVID-19, and then I lost 9 pounds in the space of about 4 days. So, it hasn't moved, and I'm doing very little in the way of activity. I kind of am eating according to my appetite. Just making sure that, obviously I cover certain bases with my protein goals and bits and pieces like that. But my step count for the last month has been under 3,000. And it's having not very much of a detrimental effect on my body composition. Now, the fact is, in 19 days, gyms reopen. And I've got obviously one-to-one clients that are looking to get back into training, and I'll be making my journey from where I am here in Woolwich to sort of Liverpool Street, and that in itself is about 8,000 steps with the commute and the walking to and from the station. So when you add that into my normal sort of daily activity, I'll be up around about the 11,000 mark without putting any effort in. So my appetite will go up. My body weight won't change. It will stay the same. And unless I deliberately push extra calories in, it's not gonna affect me. I'm not gonna have to worry about it. And that's the beauty of being in tune with your appetite and being in tune with your body in that respect.
It's an interesting thing when you look at sort of like clients that will say they're adamantly sticking to things and they're not losing, and the first thing people look at is maybe the step count's low, and realizing if you can maintain your weight at 3,000 steps, how much food accuracy is way off compared to what people think it is. I remember a show, I didn't even watch a show on Channel 4 called Secret Eaters.
Yeah.
I fucking love this show.
Brilliant.
Where they got this guy who goes, can't lose weight, I swear I'm only eating 1,500 calories. And they hired people to go through his bins and film him through the day. And they did 2 Henry VIII style dinner tables. And he had one with what he thought he was eating, and then next to it was what he's actually eating in a week. And it was unbelievable how inaccurate people are with their food. And I don't know, looking at that, how much your step count really makes so much of a difference, unless you're really killing it.
Huge difference. I mean, it's a massive difference over the course of, you know, a week. You had, if you're the average guy that works in the city, you're probably only doing about sort of 5,000-6,000 steps. All right, so if you add 1,000 steps a day to that, you just added an extra day's worth of activity.
Yeah,
It's huge, right? It's really easily done, and it's one of those things where you can creep activity into people's life. You can creep it up really, really easily just by saying, "Hey, listen, this week all I want you to do is just, you know, an extra couple of, like an extra 1,000 steps." It's about 13 minutes worth of walking on top of what you're doing right now. So realistically, you know, that's an extra 5 minutes out and an extra 5 minutes back if you go for a you know, half hour at lunchtime walking. Just
what strategy do you guys use to get people's steps up? Like I've gone into a lot of the Stan Efferding thing of like the regular 10-minute walks for people that are really busy, and that works an absolute treat of just like every hour, just 10 minutes, walk around the office, answer your emails, get on the phone if you need to. But what do you guys tend to advise?
It is. I think it's really easy to manage steps. I think the second that people actually start tracking it and looking at it, like a measured thing is a managed thing, right? The second that they realize that they're tracking that, and they've got to sort of put it on their check-in form for me, and you know, then they're kind of looking at it going, "Oh man, I'm under my step count today. I better go for a walk." You know, I mean, we've all done it, right? We've all done it. I've got off the train where I was prepping in 2017, and I had a step count target of 21,000 steps. Right, that was part of the plan, right?
Okay, grind.
So yeah, the grind, which is cool because, you know, that it is what it is. You do whatever you need to do when you're getting ready for a show. It's simple as that, right? If you're working with a coach and they say do X, you do X, right? Because if you don't, then you're an idiot because you're paying the person. So I remember getting off my train at like 10 o'clock at night, coming home from I was working in Victoria at the time. I was at a gym in Victoria, getting off the train at like 10 o'clock at night and walking around my building 3 times before going in, just to get the step count above 21,000. Like little things like that. I mean, you end up going at crazy effort levels, you know. Like I know Victoria, when she's been dieting in the past, has like danced around in the bathroom, you know, just to make sure that she covered her step counts. Like, would I do that now? Probably not. No, I would just look at tomorrow and be like, all right, I was a little bit under today, I'll be a little bit over tomorrow. You know, or I'll add extra into the rest of the week and just space it out a little bit. So, all right, 2,000 steps down. Okay, I'll put, you know, 500 steps into the rest of the week, and it'll even out. You know, I don't really tend to worry about it too much.
You can do that now. You can do that now, though. But I think the fact that you had that mentality in the first place of, oh, no, I'm not waiting till tomorrow, I'm going to go out and do it now and get it done, is the reason why you can take that approach now successfully, as opposed to, as opposed to going, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, and then you just don't do it tomorrow, which is what a lot of, like, but sometimes a lot of clients get into that mindset is they'll put it off, where sometimes they need that mentality of not necessarily all in, but just enough to like, I'm going to make sure I tick that box and build momentum. Whereas, you know, you can hold off, the momentum will be there. You know, and
I think it's much the same as the nutrition side of things, right? When you start people out, I always tell them, we're going to start out with a very rigid, strict plan so that you can learn how to handle flexibility.
Yes.
So same as training, right? You earn the right to progress. You don't just progress. You have to earn the right to progress. You have to put the time and the effort in, getting stronger, slowly but surely, managing your movements, managing your form, making sure that, you know, you're making incremental improvements over time. You know, double progression, just to make it like a nice simpler ratchet. With the nutrition, you know, you start off very strict and very rigid. You then maybe get like decision-making privileges back for one meal. You know what your calories and your macros need to be for that one meal, so fill that. And then when you can do that across the entire day, and you can do that across the entire week, then you can start being a little bit more fluid with where you put those calories. So maybe you bank some calories for later in the day. Maybe you bank some calories for later in the week. But you can't do that on day one. Like, you have to go through the sort of hard yards. You have to go through the learning experiential part of it to be able to go, okay, cool. Well, I'm in a good position now because I put that work in then. So I understand how this works. I understand how I can have a day where maybe my average calories are meant to be 2,000, but I'll have 3,000 calories on a day, and it's not going to impact me negatively because I know that the rest of my week has accommodated that. So when I look at the weekly average, and it's like we keep coming back to this thing, right? It's a game of averages. When I look at the weekly average, I've hit my weekly average for my calories, my protein, my fats, my carbs. They're all hitting the weekly average. I've hit my weekly average step count. I got my workouts in. I had the average progression on my workouts. I was able to recover as a result, which meant I could continue to hit those training sessions hard. So yeah, I think you're right. I think that there's going through a period where you have no decision-making privileges is good. Right.
Yeah.
You know,
I think going off slightly off on a tangent, but sort of the tangent we're going on. This is the reason why I have a massive defense of meal plans. I think it's been the trendy thing now for a lot of trainers to demonize meal plans as like, meal plans don't teach you anything. I'm like, meal plans teach you everything. Meal plans teach you structure. Meal plans teach you consistency. Meal plans teach you compliance. And I think having something, especially when you're dealing with people who are busy, having something that the meal plan doesn't have to be every client gets the same. It's what can you stick to that hits the numbers that you need to hit, that you enjoy enough to do regularly, that it's easy enough for you to follow when shit hits the fan and your life is crazy. And then when life calms down, you can add more variety, you can add more recipes, and then you can dial back. I don't know about you guys, but whenever a client in the first few weeks asks for a recipe, alarm bells start ringing that they're trying to make this more complicated than it needs to be. And I already think they're probably going to struggle.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ones that are really easy are the ones that will go out and they'll buy recipe books, right? But there'll be recipe books written by people that take into consideration the macros that are going into the foods. And I've got a cat opening my blinds. Gee, do one. Like, look at this asshole. I'm gonna get him.
Light the dungeon.
Hang on a second.
This is the second podcast I've listened to and one I've been on today where a cat has interrupted the stream.
This is G. This is one of the most handsome cats you'll ever see. He's bulky, he's heavy, he's dense. Look at that. Look at those eyes. Those are killer's eyes. Yeah. Except he knows he's not the alpha here. Do one. He's pissed off because the other cat is sitting outside the cat flap, so he can't go out because she'll bug him. So he's in a bad mood. And so now he's sitting over there staring at me. Okay. Do one. Yeah, I mean, I think the meal plan thing, I agree with it to an extent. I think that having that structure to begin with is a good idea. I just think that moving past it as quickly as you can, and it is as quickly as you can rather than just as quickly as possible. Right? You shouldn't just be a case of, oh, you've done 2 weeks in a meal plan, here's some flexibility. Like, now you go do it. I think a lot of the people that don't like meal plans simply don't want to put the effort into putting together a decent one for a client. They want to just give the client, oh, there's your macros, go and fill that. Okay, with what? Like how? Right?
That's the thing. Like how many clients know how to do that? Because you know how to do that, because you've done that for the last 10 years.
It's easy,
doesn't
right?
the client know what food portion size is? The amount of mistake, you open them up to so much margin for error, it's insane. How about you make it really simple to start with as a beginner, and you just, as you said, you drip feed autonomy into them as they go through that process.
Yeah, you're building a base, you're building, like your foundation, and then from the foundation you can layer more and more things on top of it. But it's like, to begin with, it's like John Berardi says, humans don't eat macros, they eat meals. So until they actually understand what goes into those meals and how those meals are composed, there's no point trying to sort of say, here's your numbers, go and do that.
Yeah.
Like when I add things into people's diets, I'll tell them, like, all right, I'm gonna add 50 grams of carbs in for you this week on these days, and I want you to do it at this point. It's entirely up to them what they go ahead and use, but I will always have suggestions as to what sort of foods I think they should increase, like what sort of things they should add. I like to add modular things, things that are very, very easy that you don't have to weigh. So, like Warburtons, those bagel thins, they're 25 grams of carbs each, right?
Yeah.
So it's an easy, like, have 2 of those. Brilliant. Like a couple of Rice Krispie squares, they're between 21 to 26 grams, depending on what ones they get. It's going to average out about the right amount. So have a couple of those. Things like that are, the Oh So Simple sachets, they come in 25 gram sachets, like 25 gram, that's the other cat. Brilliant. 25 grams of carbs in each sachet, they're like 32 grams of oats per sachet, something like that. So, that works. That's what I think anyway. Rob, thoughts?
No, you're spot on. You're spot on. This is the thing. We've got clients coming to us that have had years, if not decades for some, of unstructured eating. So it is on us to show them how to structure, whether that is just in terms of meal plan or their steps, trying to help them figure that out as well. I think it's the same as the trainers that are too quick to say, I don't do meal plans, here's your macros, go figure it out. For me, that's the same as saying, right, you got a gym membership, yeah, off you go. Like, not telling them what to, like, we need to show them what a day, what a week's worth, what an actual meal looks like in terms of food.
Yeah.
How we then add, like you say with the carbs, how you would then add that in to make adjustments where necessary, and making it easier for them. Like you say, we're adding the thins in and things like that. We're taking away, it's not that we're taking away control, we're just showing them how you can have flexibility. Because again, someone who's had decades of unstructured eating and you say, right, go have 50 grams of carbs, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to go straight for that full-on junk,
Special, bro.
They're going to get their COVID donut and regret it and think they've blown their diet and whatever. And I think there's certainly
I think that needs to be touched on as well, though. It's that kind of getting them out of that mindset of donut equals bad. Like it's contextual. It doesn't. Donut's just food, right? We shouldn't be afraid of any kind of foods. We shouldn't be worried about whether or not we're, oh God, I've had a donut, that's it, diet ruined. It's like when we get into that mindset, it kind of puts people in that. I mean, it does really create that disordered eating, right? That everybody wanky lefty types are all complaining about. Oh, you create orthorexia. Like, really? Not if you give people the ability and the choices to make these decisions and have this food included in their diet. There's no reason why they can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, we are on a countdown.
Yeah, I know. I realised it. I'm trying to sort.
I've got Zoom telling me that we've got 7 minutes left.
Someone's not
got that. Try and sort it.
Fuck Zoom. They're trying to get me to buy this. No. Anyway, Rob, you got a question, didn't you?
A dead simple one. It's kind of along the lines of the cardio as well. But someone asking, the simple question of should they take creatine?
Should they not?
Should they not? Which again comes down to, like I say, a bit of context needed. Are they looking to improve their body composition? Are they looking to improve their strength? Are they an ultra marathon runner? Are they a couch potato and have no interest in exercising whatsoever? What's the reason for wanting or for considering taking creatine?
I can't see any harm in it. It's the most researched sports supplement on the planet, right? I mean, it's unless there's any kind of contraindications, if it's in your budget, why not? Right? If you're concerned about any kind of health implications, run it past your GP, or just go see your GP and have a little chat with them. Personally, I don't, but I've never seen any benefit from using it. I know that it doesn't work for everyone. I think it's about 55% of the population responds to it, and the rest are just they don't get anything one way or another. I've never seen the supposed overnight weight gain you get from when you start taking it, and all of a sudden people are like, "Oh yeah, I've gained 5 pounds." Never seen that. Never felt any stronger. Never felt any less fatigued during training. If I'm not going to notice a difference from it, I'm not going to waste my time on it. Right? But other people I know that have used it, that do notice an effect, do notice a difference. So have a crack, see how you get on. If you like it, keep doing it. If not, move on. Right? It's really, I mean, it's the same as for everything else. You test it out, run it, see how it goes, and if you get a benefit from it, then by all means keep it in. Obviously, if you're concerned about any health implications, like anything else, run it past your GP. Keep it simple, stupid.
There's also that element of people assume that it's the creatine that's doing the job.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so if I think back to some of the strongest lifts I've ever had, I wasn't taking creatine. And I know some people that would say creatine's such an integral part to their routine, and it's helping them get stronger and gain more muscle. Is it that, or is it the fact that for the first time in their life, they're following a structured routine and progressively overloading and looking at their percentages and things like that? Would they still have the same result if they took the creatine away? How much of a percent of an extra result is that creatine? It's tough to tell with newbies. Someone who's got like 10 years worth of training data, then we're going to see something. It's tough to tell with new people. But like I said, I've never seen any ill health come from it. So, like you say, with no contraindications, there's probably no risk. But is there an immediate need?
I think it's largely sort of psychosomatic. It's one of those things where you get that nocebo effect. I'm taking creatine, so I'm stronger, and I believe I'm stronger, so I'm stronger. Because let's be honest, there is a huge chunk of being strong that is psychological. Like it's you get under a bar believing that you're going to move it, you've got more chance of moving it. If you get under a bar thinking, "Oh, I've got no chance here, I'm going to die," like it's one of those. We all have those days where you feel like a hero and you just keep putting weight on the bar until you do run out of actual physical capacity. But this is still going, put some more on. Let's see if we can get 1 rep out of it, never mind 6, So, when you've got that kind of mindset going into a session, you're going to believe you can lift things. And if you think that, taking creatine makes you a little bit stronger or makes you more fatigue resistant, you maybe go in with a bit more confidence. And that mean a bit more output.
I actually did my dissertation on creatine in terms of like intermittent sprint activities, and the stuff that I found through my dissertation was that like overall average power and like output in terms of a watt bike sprint improved with the use of creatine monohydrate overall, but like the actual power was almost exactly the same. Going on to the fact that we're talking about like people who thought they were taking creatine and actually taking a placebo actually gave as much power through their sprint tests as someone who actually took it. So there might have been an ever so slight improvement in the mean, but most of the times it was, as he said, it's this, that they thought they were taking creatine, so they made a bigger effort.
Yeah.
As opposed to people that didn't think they were taking anything at all.
Rob, have you got a sports science degree?
No.
Me neither. It's just this wanker. All right, and on that bombshell, we're going to call it a day.
Oh, what a great way to end that.
Sports science wanker.
And the Wolverhampton accent.
Out.
I'd love to say I was a wanker, but the fact is I got a third because I spent too much time drinking, not enough time studying. But I took a little bit from it. Creatine was it.
You're not even a good sports science wanker.
No, I'm not.
All right. On that note, we're done.
Cheers, guys.